How we doing, folks? Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of the Gym Bros podcast with myself, Bryn.
Hello.
And we've got Adam back again.
How we doing, lads?
Good. Good to have you back. How's
Good
things?
to be back, yeah, really good.
You're unofficial Gym Bros now.
Do I get a cap?
We might get you a mug. I don't know where they've gone. I think someone stole them.
Yeah.
You can have Bryn's hat. Take it off.
No. Take your hat off.
I'm not taking my wig off.
That's offensive.
So today's topic we're going to talk about is, are we raising a generation of wimps? And this has come from, I saw something online the other day where Arnold Schwarzenegger was saying that he believes that we're raising a generation of people that are what he would class as a wimp. Now, by wimp, he's not meaning physical attributes. He's saying that like people are very easily offended, that people are scared to stand up for their views, for fear of reprisal and this, that, and the other. And I was talking to you about it, and obviously I mentioned to you, and I think we all of us have quite strong opinions on this subject, that we actually agree with him to a certain degree. So I was saying to you earlier an example where we take a television program, for example, which a lot of you have probably watched, called The In-Betweeners, which I think is hilarious. You've watched it, you've seen it, it's funny. You've seen it, it's funny. And it's kind of gross out humour. It's teenage boy kind of gross humour, spit and cum and shit jokes and bum jokes.
In that order.
Exactly, yeah. And it's funny, it's amusing. But they're saying that like something like that wouldn't be made nowadays because it's offensive to people. And I was like, but it's humour. Like, it's basic gross out humour. Like, all little boys grow up being gross. They do. It's just
It's got to appeal to a certain demographic.
Yeah.
And that's what it's meant to.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be. It's not something you'd sit and watch it with your kids. And it's not meant to be that. You know, it's meant to be a bit like,
Tongue in cheek.
that's a bit much.
Yeah.
And that's why it's funny.
Yeah. And it's like we were saying earlier, it's like stand-up comedy. Like, I grew up watching stand-up comedy, people like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Bill Hicks, you know, people like that. They were very controversial. They were very outspoken. They didn't care what they said. They didn't care whether they got a laugh or a joke or a cry or an insult. It was about getting a reaction. But no one was so offended that they would then take to social media to, oh my God, blah, blah, such and such, because it didn't exist. You either liked it or you didn't. You didn't like it, there's the door. You get up and go out. It's dead simple.
Yeah.
And I think that it's, it is a very valid point. Like, people are very easily offended. Another example is something that happened at the gym. And so we had a young lad that came to the gym and he did something wrong. And I had to speak to him and we asked him not to come back to the gym because he'd kind of broken the rules. So the rules are there for everyone to follow. He'd broken the rules. It was only a 16-year-old lad, broken the rules, and I asked him not to come back to the gym. Now, most 16-year-olds or young adults, straight away, what's the first thing they would have done? Taken to social media, a rant about it. Blah, 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 this guy's done that. He didn't. He accepted that he'd done wrong. And he came to the gym 3 times and asked the staff, can I speak to Paul? Can I speak to Paul? I want to explain myself to him, I want to tell him what happened. So 3 separate times he came, and the guys told him, if you come back, he'll be in. And he kept coming back until he found me and he came. This is a 16-year-old guy coming into a massive bodybuilding gym to speak to the owner. And he came in when I was here and he said, I'm such and such, can I have a few moments of your time? And I was like, of course you can, come in. So he came in and he told me about the situation. He said, this is what I did and I'm sorry and it shouldn't have happened, but I want to train. I want to be in the gym. I want to lift weights. It's what I really want to do. I want to come back. I'm sorry for my actions and it will never happen again. What can I do to show you that I'm serious and I want to come back to the gym? So I said to him, well, straight away, you already have my respect because you're a 16-year-old kid and you've come in and taken the time out to come and speak to an adult. You've accepted what you've done is wrong. You've accepted the consequences, which is you've not been allowed to come to the gym. And you decided that you want to come and explain yourself to me and ask for another chance. That shows you've got some balls.
So there's fucking hope, isn't there?
And
You know,
I
at
said
least.
to him, I said, you have my utter
Yeah.
respect for what you've just done. And like, as a business owner, I have to be seen to taking action against you because otherwise everyone will just do it. So you're going to be barred until the end of the month. But you come back on this date, we'll re-sign you up and we'll start afresh and we'll never discuss it. You'll get another chance. And I was like, for a 16-year-old lad to do that, I was really impressed. I was really impressed.
Very rare, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Exactly. But like I say, but that was a very rare occasion. Most people they don't come back. They don't want to accept responsibility, or they're very quick to jump to social media and put the blame onto other people. Oh, I'm offended by it, or I've been mistreated, or this is not right, this is not right. Well, no, he didn't. He accepted it, suffered the consequences, and because he came back, he was then given another chance. But that's so rare nowadays.
I'm not
So
sure
rare.
even how we got to this stage that we're at now, where everyone is just hypersensitive about everything.
Go on. Go on.
Yeah, straight
Go on,
away.
unleash the fury.
Yeah. Fucking listen, fuckers. It's parenting. Tooth and nail, it's parenting. And I'm just going to say it how it fucking is. That, 40 years ago, we had some hard fucking people in this country. Worldwide, we had hard people. There was hard times, fucking people rationing, fucking people scrimping and scraping, people were fucking grafting in mines, proper fucking labourers. And I just think as time's gone on, these hard people have spent that much time grafting that whatever offspring that they've had ended up turning into little bitches, because they are genuine little bitches. They've had offspring and it's just spiraled, and before you know it, social media's come along and fucking Pat next door is fucking pissed off about the council. They've not come and moved my leaves today. She's got an opinion on fucking Facebook.
Yeah.
3 people have liked it and they're all bot accounts, and before you know it, she thinks she's a superstar. And that then rolls downhill to the next person and the next person and the next person. Then a new app comes out. Oh, try this one. And before you know it, everyone's got opinions and everyone's a fucking mini little superstar, and it's just fucking spiraled out of control. And that's genuinely what's wrong with society at the moment.
But they are living like a different life, because the fact is social media isn't real. It's not a real place. People need to realise that. Like how much they're venting online and how much they're trying to get their message across, which is fine. But they can't fucking expect everyone to be on board with it and to accept it. Like we spoke about before, it's okay to be offended. Fine. Like it takes a lot to get me offended, but I'm sure there's something that would offend me. Like it's not physical pain. Like I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I don't feel a need to tell everyone how offended I am. I expect, right, oh, gather around me and let's all be offended together.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. That's what they're hoping for. Everyone agrees with them. And again, you don't have to fucking agree with each other.
Yeah.
It's like we were saying before. I said that I think that people have become frightened to stand up for their beliefs now because they're persecuted for having an opinion or a belief. So let's take something that's quite current. We were talking about it before we were waiting. So what's gone on in the Olympics at the moment? So we've had the female Olympic boxer that's gone up against a competitor who was born a male, who's transitioned to a female in order to compete, and they've allowed them to compete. Bearing in mind that this transgender athlete has previously been stopped competing in a similar...
The year before.
The year before,
World
stopped.
Championships.
Yeah, World Championships was stopped from competing against females because they have a very clear physical advantage. So this Italian, I think she's Italian, isn't she? The lady
one that quit was Italian, yeah.
So this Italian lady spent years of her life training and fighting other women to get to a point in her career. She's dedicated her life to that, to represent her country at the Olympics, to go into a ring, to be put against a man. She lasted 46 seconds.
Yeah.
And she then had to quit. And she said, I've never been punched so hard in my life. Bearing in mind, she's a professional fighter. So it's not like she's never been punched in. It's not like you've gone and got Brenda off the street and put a skirt on Bryn and gone, he's going to punch you in the face. She's used to that. That's her career.
Yeah.
And she's lasted 46 seconds. And so why are people not standing up for that? Because they were frightened because the athlete is trans, they're frightened of having an opinion because they'll be persecuted for it. You're wrong. Why? I'm not wrong. It's my opinion. That person should not be in a ring with that lady. She shouldn't.
And unfortunately, I think it's becoming almost fucking popular and fashionable to be on board with this kind of woke community, because it's a growing community, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was watching Dave Chappelle, and he was talking about it, and he gets so much backlash off trans people, for instance, but he's genuinely never had the problem. Like, one of his best friends was a trans person, and he was saying, like, this is amazing. Like, you've done this movement is fucking impressive. And he was kind of putting it against, like, the black community. How long it's took them to get stage. You've done it in a fucking year. What we haven't done in 200 years, you've done in a year. And he was basically saying it's because of this kind of avalanche of people just jumping on the bandwagon. And my main issue is this, is me personally, I couldn't give a fuck.
No, we've discussed it in that.
Whatever you want to be,
exactly.
I'm happy for you. In fact, I've got a lot of respect for it. If you are that way inclined, or you feel that strongly about it, and you feel like you have been born in a different body, and you have the courage to fucking, as a guy, to start one day putting on a dress and being that person, fucking, you got more bollocks than me, literally. But my issue is that because they're pushing so hard on people like us to support stuff like that, guy boxing in the female Olympics, and for us to accept that there's more than two genders, because they're pushing so hard, it makes me feel, someone like me who doesn't give a fuck, start giving a fuck, but also wants to fight back against it. When actually I'd be quite happy to let them do what they want. But they're just throwing it down people's throats so much, it starts turning you the way, right? Where you start thinking, actually, I hate all this. When a year ago I couldn't give a fuck. Because it's leaking into our everyday lives now. What do you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And as like I say, we've discussed it on podcasts before. You're born a man or a woman. That's it. What you then choose to do with yourself is completely up to you. But you are genetically made up to be male or female. There's no ifs, no buts, no maybes. If you feel that you were born into the wrong body, then that's fine. That's acceptable. You transition to whatever you need to. But you were still born one or the other. Your genetic makeup, your DNA is one or the other, male or female.
Well, science is out the window now, apparently.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's not. It can't be. Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, people are pushing an agenda. I don't know anyone that doesn't accept people for what they are. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to, like you say, if you came into the gym next week in a dress, that's fine, and you wanted us to call you Annabelle instead of Adam, brilliant.
I'd look great in a dress.
You got good legs.
I thought about it. Thanks, mate.
But you know what I mean? It doesn't change the fact that you're still a decent person, you're still someone to get on. You just look pretty in a dress now. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it genuinely doesn't matter. But the fact that people are then, like, but then if you put you in a boxing ring with a female, that's not equality, is it? It isn't. So they're kind of forcing this equality, but it isn't. It's a false equality. Like, women, and what I don't understand is, why are women not standing up for them? Because they fought for years and years and years, and they're still fighting for equality, to be treated the same as men.
But that they will start fighting against, and then that gender kind of gap is going to grow again. Because there's going to be some people that are going to want to really separate it. So we've got a plain black and white. And there is loads of in-betweens, and that's fine, but you can't fucking be offended if we don't get on board with it 100%, because we don't believe that there's more than two genders or whatever they're believing in.
You need to throw, feelings out the window, like we said before. The first one, first and foremost, is the health and safety of that person. And that person's health and safety should not trump that person's health and safety. No. The fact is, that person is biologically going to kill that person. Do you know what I mean? If that fight had gone on any longer, you know what I mean, she'd have done her some serious damage. And fair enough to the same weight or whatever, but that's an Algerian man that is transitioned.
It's not a small man either.
No.
He's
It
a
looked
big
like
unit.
Khal Drago.
Exactly.
Literally looked like Khal Drago, and that's what. But we laughed. But like, to look at straight away, you go, holy shit! Like, that's a woman. That's a trans woman, and that's straight away. It's you ask that question. What's that? That's a woman. What's that? That's a trans woman.
Yeah.
That's the way you're putting trans in front of it.
Yeah.
It's not a woman. It's something else. Do you know what I mean? Whatever you want to be is up to you. But let's cut the bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's happy to play the game.
Yeah.
It comes a problem when you start to take the piss and put in cheat codes. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is.
Well, they've never let men and women compete against each other
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons,
Yeah.
and that's not being sexist. It's not
No.
nothing. It's just there are certain. We've discussed it again before. There's certain things that men have, physical capabilities and attributes that women don't have. So that's why you have male and female, leagues and
Take the
sports
Olympics.
federations.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why in gymnastics. That's why women don't do what are they called, the rings.
Yeah.
They don't do rings. They do other stuff because they're better at that.
Yeah.
So it looks better and it's more aesthetically pleasing.
But now we're in a position where, like you said, that death could happen here in a combat sport.
Yeah.
So now, to save people getting offended, we're going to risk lives. How the fuck did it get to this? Like, this is mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. 100%.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
And the problem is, like, people are now looking to be offended. This is the worst. Like Kevin Hart with the Oscars.
Yeah.
They went back 12 years.
Yeah, that's
to a
ridiculous.
tweet. He's quite clearly not homophobic.
Yeah.
You know, what he said, there was a joke, and guess what? He's a fucking comedian.
That's what he does
Imagine
for a
cracking
living.
a joke.
Yeah.
And he went back 12 years and said, you need to apologise. And good on him, he said, fucking no, like,
Yeah.
I won't do it then.
I'm not
And
apologising for
that's
something
what
I
we
said
need.
12
People to
years
stand
ago.
like, no, that's not what I believe in.
But again, he stuck. Respect to him. He stuck to his principles, and he said, "I was a different person back then. It was a different time. I'm not going to apologise for something that was relevant at that point in time, regardless of how society has progressed now. I'm not apologising for something retrospectively. I'm not doing it." And he was persecuted for it.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, people heard about it, went to it to decide if they were offended or not.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. People are searching
To be offended for a reason.
They're not
jump on a
happy
bandwagon.
unless they're pissed off.
Yeah.
Which is fucking nuts again.
But again, if and it comes right back to what we were saying, we are breeding a generation of wimps, people that are frightened to stand up for themselves because people are persecuting them for it. Like we were saying before, that there are leaders and there are followers. Like you come from a military background. Every single person that joins the military is not going to be a general or a sergeant or whatever. They're not going to be a leader, are they?
They've got the place.
They're not.
They've
Not
got the
everyone
place.
has that skill set. Not everyone has the attributes to be able to lead. And most people in this world are followers. So society now is taking leaders and removing their influence because they don't want these outstanding people, these people that are outspoken.
Free thinkers.
Yeah. But what happens if we go into a situation where we have a need for leaders? What happens if we go into a world war and we have no leaders anymore because everyone's now been frightened to have an opinion, to stand up for what they believe in? So do you think all these followers are going to stand up for a country where they've been persecuted for having an opinion? How are you going to motivate these people to go to war if they don't even believe in their own country? Do you know what I mean? How are they going to do it? This is when I was doing some research about national service. We spoke about it.
Yeah.
So national service, they're trying to bring in as they're saying, obviously, because they want people to, and I think it's a good idea. If you're not going into education and you're not going into a career or job or an apprenticeship or something, why should you just be allowed to go and get given money? Why not go and do something with it, learn something? So maybe national service is a good option. I'm not saying it's the only option, but it's a good option because you will go into the military and not only will you learn discipline and how to take care of yourself, but you'll potentially learn a trade which you can then come and apply into the real world. But how do we know there's not an underlying agenda now that they're saying, oh, well, we're going to make this because we now need to get people into the military? Because there's a lot of talk, obviously, saying that there's potentially another world war on the horizon for the way that the situation's going.
Yeah.
So are they then trying to get these people into the system again in order to get them ready? We just don't know, because right now, I feel that the society is downtrodden. COVID was kind of an experiment to see whether the masses can be controlled by what's on their phone, and it proved that it has. Because take COVID as an example, every single person that stood up for their belief and said, I don't believe this is right, was persecuted. We was talking about it before, weren't we? Some people are still suffering. the repercussions of standing up for what they believed in, even though the government has come out and said, "Oh, we made things up as we went along," or "This vaccine's doesn't even work," or "We wasted all this money on thingy."
Yeah.
But the people that stood up and said, "No, no, no, I don't believe all this," they were the ones that have been trodden down, because what they've done is they've been able to control the world and make them stay at home by what's been put on their phone or on that TV. And everyone believed it, or the majority of people believed it, and the people that stood up were made to feel like outcasts. Is that the way that the world's going to go? And if more people were able to stand up for themselves, this thing at the Olympics is potentially a prime example. So if everyone stood up and said, "That's not right," I've got nothing against that person's gender, but what they've done is they've put a man against a woman, and that's not right. She's not had a fair opportunity to represent herself and her country. Something she was like, that's not right. They would have to do something about it.
I mean, you'd hope that there's enough people that are fucking normal in the head to realise that this is a big issue and stand together.
Yeah.
But then the other worrying side is the fact that it is a minority of people who are causing issues and taking offence and like taking stands against ridiculous things, but it's having such an influence. Like, how are they having that reach? How's their voice so loud?
But I was watching a documentary the other week, which was quite interesting, and it was about. Well, I'm not going to go into what it is. It's not a subject I want to discuss, but I was quite interested to see how it was. The people that were. It was the people that were taken to social media to speak out about it, which gained attraction. So you might see something on TV, or you might read something in the paper and you think, "I don't agree with that." Well, then you just carry on with the rest of your day. It's not a big enough issue that you feel that you have to have a voice. But there are people out there that will read that and go, "No, I don't agree with that." And straight away, they're on social media. Like I've always said for years, social media has been giving the village idiot a worldwide audience. That's literally what it does. So this one person, Karen from down the road, who this, that, and the other, she's read something, she's got offended. So straight away, she's taken to TikTok, she's recorded a video. Thousands of people have watched it. It's gone viral. It's got loads of comments and this, that, and the other. And then everyone's jumped on her opinion. Whereas her opinion that's her opinion. She's entitled to it, but it doesn't stand for everyone, because there's probably a million other people that have read that same article that have gone, "Yeah, I don't agree with that. Carry on with the rest of my day."
I wonder what causes that fucking desperate need for people's approval. Like you said, if you've seen something and thought, you could even think that's interesting, or I don't agree with that. That's my personal thought, and I'll move on with my day. Why do I need everyone to come around me and say, "I agree with you, mate. That's right"?
I think because what it's doing now is it's highlighting how many victims there are in society, and these can be of any age. These aren't just kids. These aren't just just left college or mid-20s or whatever. These are fully grown adults that potentially have never had many friends, never had a big sort of friend group, as it were. Never been popular. Never walked in a room and everyone's gone hello. You know what I mean? So their way to push their agenda on society is to put it on social. It takes off, and they're like, "Oh, people value my opinion."
That's definitely right, though. Yeah,
it's just like
Feel valued. Feel worth something.
they've never been listened to, or they've never had a voice, and now they can spout, whether people listen or not. They're fucking getting out there.
Yeah,
and some might get traction, some might not. Like, who gives a fuck?
It's crazy. It's like you say, who you gonna listen to more? A doctor on TikTok or fucking Jake Paul?
Yeah.
They're all gonna lean that way because it's a nice quick fix of dopamine. Like, oh, he's excited. Oh, yeah, well, actually, this guy's trying to tell you how to live and potentially save your life.
This guy's educating you. That
guy's
entertaining you.
I'm not interested in what he's got to say. I watched Jake Paul because he's had a new haircut today, and unfortunately, like that's way. Social media is a massive thing where like people have all jumped on it now and they've all got an opinion and they've all got people around them going, "Yeah, honestly, I totally agree with you." And it's like, yeah, but that's your friendship circle of 100 people. How many of them do you spend time with all the time? Well, I don't. They're all in my phone. They're all in my palm. You know what I mean? Oh, what are they up to today? And it's just, it's so accessible. Everyone's so accessible, and it's so easy to just get hundreds of thousands of people on one subject, and all of a sudden you're a superstar, and they're not.
I tell you who nailed it on the head for me. I was watching one his stand-up comic. Is it Mickey Flanagan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He nailed it on the head for me. And you'll get this, and you'll get this, because we're obviously all certain sort of end. You'll probably get it. So years ago, you'd have people in your town or whatever. Well, this and the other end, they'd be thick. They'd be what you would call thick. Yeah, thick as shit he is.
I just drove through Stoke. Yeah, I don't know exactly.
So what it'd be is, this is Bryn, yeah, don't listen to him, he's thick as shit, he is, go home, thick as shit. Now what they do with them, they go, Bryn, you're thick as shit, let's put you on a fucking TV. Hey, I'm thick as shit, I am. And everyone listens to him.
Yeah.
And everyone listens to him. They're giving that person a platform to air their ridiculous opinions and their voices because it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Whereas years ago, you're thick as shit. Right, go home, Bryn. You're thick as shit. Right? No one's listening to you. You don't know what you're on about. Whereas now,
Go run into that wall. Yeah.
go home and play with your Lego.
Yeah.
Whereas now they're giving them a global platform. They're sticking them on TikTok. They're putting them on reality TV shows. They're giving them a voice, and that's what people are listening to. They're listening to idiots. They're not listening to the people that actually have something valid to say.
Do you know what? Funnily enough, I actually seen something about this the other day on when I was scrolling through on TikTok, and for me, it almost makes me throw up because if I was to ever meet the guy, I would probably pull his head off, genuinely, and I'm not even asked who knows that. Joey Essex, that fucking absolute
Thick as shit.
thick as shit. But it, apparently, like, I keep seeing this fucking thing that keeps saying, "This is Reem, that's Reem," and I go, "Spaz." Straight away, I literally like I look at that person and I go, "You've actually just made a video about saying a made-up word that some guy down south that's got about 4 brain cells. None of them are operating at all. Do you know what I mean? He's barely able to fucking remember to breathe, and you've made him a superstar. Do you know what I mean?
There's another one I saw online, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like, and it's like, it's people are so desperate to get some kind of attention.
Yeah.
So I've been following this DJ on TikTok, and he's like an older guy. I think is it Fish 56 Octagon. So you need to find him on.
Catchy.
But
Rolls off the tongue.
But he's never wanted to be popular. What it is he's got a massive love and passion for dance music, and his TikTok channel is the most basic thing ever. So he sets up a camera, and all he does is he plays vinyl, and then he dances in front of it, and he's amazing. And do you know what? I can't stop watching him. But now he's become so popular, and he's so genuine that he's living out his dream. Like, he played a gig at Glastonbury, and he's like, and he put this video on the other day, and he was saying, and he was really emotional. He was saying, "I can't believe that I'm able to make a living doing what I love, which is bringing my love of dance music to all these youngsters and getting to play all these." And he's like, "I'm so grateful for this platform that's been able to do it." And he's done it for himself because of his love of music. And then I found parody accounts. So there's people out there that are doing a parody of him in order to ride his fame and get likes for their own TikTok channel. So they're not doing it in a bad way, by the way. They're just mimicking it, and people are finding it humor. But this is a guy that's like was a relatively nobody that's become viral because of what he loves doing, and then people are riding his coattails, mimicking him.
But if you check the comments, you're still going to find people hating on that. They've got an issue with that.
Yeah.
What, happy?
Yeah.
It's something you love?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I'm
He
some of
put
this.
a video up the other day saying he's at the point where he's been able to give up his job because he can now make enough money to provide for his family and do what he loves. Now that's his dream.
Yeah.
He's living his dream. What's wrong with that? But you're absolutely right. There are people going on there commenting and saying,
Toxic fuckers just trying to drag them down. Like, there's one thing that people are not doing well hate more than anything, and seeing other people do well.
Yeah.
They just can't cope. It's too much. It's too much. I mean,
you always find as well, it's them ones, they're the ones that have the fake profiles. They will never do it themselves. They will never do their comments off their own.
no one happy with themselves dishes out hate.
Yeah.
It does make sense. I watched a fucking video today talking about ridiculous things on the internet. And this is what's why we spoke about this briefly before, about how much time it takes me to like put content together and think of ideas that are going to be of value to people. watching a video today about some fucking guy trying to break a world record for the quickest time it would take him to shit himself. This is real. So he stood there in what looks like his garage, right? And he's talking through it. He's got the world record that was 16.3 seconds or something. And I'm a fucking tit because I'm watching it. You know, I've seen all...
You're contributing to that thick as shit.
Go and check it out. Millions of views of some guy straining to shit himself to beat a world record. And I'm like...
What has the world come to?
I'm offended. I was so offended.
But did you watch the whole video?
No, I've just not talk about it on a podcast.
So yeah, I think like, obviously to wrap it up, I think that the message that we're trying to get across is that it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to be offended. It's okay to not like something. But I think it's about time that people are stop being persecuted for having an opinion and standing up for what they believe in. My beliefs could be different to yours and different to you, but it doesn't mean we're not going to get on.
Yeah.
Just because I don't believe or agree with something that you do doesn't mean I hate you. Like, you're entitled to an opinion. You're an individual. You have your own sense of humour. You have your own goals. You have your own outlook on life. And that's your right as a person, as an individual, to have that.
Just fucking relax.
Yeah.
None of us are getting out this alive.
No.
So just fucking enjoy it and get the fuck on with it, innit? Jesus.
So what people got to do, Bryn?
Like, comment, and subscribe.